Hi guys, welcome back. I'm James at Bespoke, and in this one we're looking at the new release from Secutor, which is the Secutor Gladius Magna CO2 pistol.
It's a war zone. Feel the impact. Yeah, break it open, leaving nothing f***ing intact. Hey yo, you been hacked. You're safe, hard in, but I found it, homie, been cracked. Hey yo, we been back. Your band stacking, see you flexing with the thin stack. Hey, you been whacked. I kill them all, feel a motherfucking impact. Yo, this a war zone, homie, say you ready.
So yes, another new product from Secutor, this being the update to their Gladius range. Now, if you're not aware of their Gladius range before, they were using an APS OEM. There was some issues, I think, me personally, when I was at our old premises, when we first launched, obviously we stocked the Gladius in force, and I was one of those lucky people in terms of selling them that we never really had many issues, and not many of them coming back. Don't get me wrong, we had a couple, but by no means was it a complete write-off. However, over the time, people have had their doubts about the APS platform, and you know, it never really took off just because there was reports of a few faulty models, and you know, people obviously stopped buying them. However, Secutor have come back with a new line. They're going back to the OEM that they know works, that covers their 1911 platform and the new Ludus high capper, which they did, which is KJ Works. Now, they've been working with KJ Works for a while. They really do know how to make their CO2 pistols. You'll have known from some influencer on YouTube that's just launched a new Glock 18 model pistol who's using the same OEM. So what does that tell you? Of course, you'll see a label on here that they're putting Maple Leaf products in there straight off the bat as well. They're not going too silly with it. Just, you know, they put a Maple Leaf hopper in here, which is a nice accepted upgrade out of the box. So I have opened this already just to let you know. I have been playing about with this, but the box, you open it up, you've got this lovely foam. It's like an acoustic style foam padding in the box here. It keeps it nice and protected. You've got a manual. You've got the pistol itself, this one being the tan one. You've got an Allen key for installing and retrieving the CO2 capsules in the magazine. And that is pretty much it. Nothing too fancy. I'm not going to go through with the manual with you on camera just because I'd be defeating the point, because I'm going to tell you how this thing works anyway. So, brand new pistol from Secutor. This is using their KJ Works OEM, and they've done their new Glock model line, which is the Gladius, but they're calling it the Magna. The Magna, in terms of the 1911 model range that they do, has the ability to put a red dot sight straight onto the slide there. So whether that's the same reasoning behind the name, I'm not too sure. But this is the Gladius Magna. You can see it's a G17 model. Got a Secutor logo there. You've got Magna on the slide here. You've got SPQR on the top where the RMR plate is. You've got Virtus Vincere Teneras. I've probably butchered that. In case you haven't noticed, I'm quite ill at the moment. Don't worry, I haven't got the Rona, just flued up. So if I do sound a bit hoarse, then you know that's why. So you've got Secutor arms on the frame here as well. A serial number, and then that dreaded airsoft safety that they like to put on the G series models, some manufacturers, which you'll never ever use. So really nice style on the slide here. They've got the RMR plate there you can take off, put a red dot sight on. You've got a threaded barrel here, which is 14mm counterclockwise, so those guys that want to put traces and stuff on this, absolutely superb. Comes with a CO2 magazine included in the box. This one you'll see here has a CO2 magazine in, because I've just chronoed it and done the accuracy test at 15 meters. So this is a fairly fresh CO2 bulb. What I did notice is between the CO2 bulb brands, or it might be a case of this hadn't broken in quite properly yet, I don't know. As soon as we received these in, Secutor were very nice enough to send me this sample my way. It was much as what they did with the Ludus. I was being cheeky. I said to the Secutor, you got your Ludus coming out, do you want to do something with it? Send us a pistol for review purposes and we'll do some crazy stuff with it. We buy a lot of the Secutor products anyway. Obviously they agreed, they sent me a Ludus, I did a load of videos with it. I sent them another message on Instagram after they put a post up about us and said, do you guys want to work together again? Do you want to send me one of your new Magnas? They, of course, said, yes, we'll send you a new Magna. So they sent me, asked me which colour I wanted. They sent me a tan one. We do love Secutor. They do work with us very well. So I put CO2 caps in this, and in the warehouse, we were just, let's put some rounds to it, see what it's doing. And on the first CO2 capsule I put in the warehouse, this pistol fired at 280 feet per second, pretty much every round. We fired it nice and slow, repetitive shots. We managed to get 3 3/4 magazines worth of BBs out to one capsule of CO2. You'll see, having done that, and obviously bringing it home now to review it properly for you guys, you'll see this CO2 capsule has been in my kit bag for a while. There's a little bit of surface rust there, but it's a fresh CO2 bulb. And you'll see when I put the chrono results up just later, it did rise a little bit, then it settled back down to where it was. So maybe this is being ran in, maybe it's just getting its, it's a nice smooth operation with me pulling it fresh out the box and chroning it, but we'll see how this thing goes. So yes, it's a 17 series model here, so you've got no fire detectors, not a G18, it's just semi-auto only. Metal slide, metal barrel, polymer frame here, polymer trigger. If you're familiar with a Gen 3 style G series model, doesn't matter on the manufacturer, you'll know your way around this pistol pretty sharpish. So this is OEM by KJ Works. I myself, for the amount of time that I've been doing this now, I haven't really owned a lot of KJ Works. In fact, I don't think I've ever owned a KJ Works G series pistol at all. I've done high cappers and 1911s. But I've got a fresh CO2 caps in here. I say fresh, I fired it through the chrono 10 shots, and then I put a full magazine down on a target. So after that, this is the same CO2 capsule. The gun is empty. I'm in an enclosed space. There's no one else in here. I'm happy that the gun is empty. So do as I say, not as I do. If you are shooting these things, make sure you've got something on your eyes here, guys. But for those out there who want to say, oh, he's got no eye pride, I don't want to hear it. I've cleared this gun. There's no one else in the room. I'm in an enclosed environment. But let's see what the snappiness of this thing is on a fairly fresh CO2 capsule. So you'll see there, this is one of the things I picked up on the pistol pretty much straight away, is, excuse me, when the magazine's inserted into the pistol and you do let the slide release forward, it is not the fastest to return. But when you're firing it, you don't obviously tell. So let's just put a few rounds through this. I'm just going to try and center it in the camera here for you. And if you're wondering why the wall is empty at the moment, we very recently, a couple of weeks ago, did a weekend event, and a lot of the things we took with us, so that's why they're missing on the wall. So you can see it's really snappy there. I really do like what Secutor do with their brand. They've got their very own unique style, and it is refreshing not just to see the same mundane stuff plastered on a pistol, repackaged, put someone else's name on it, and away you go. They do put their little edge and their little flair on it, so it is welcomed at all. We're going to get this top cover off in just a moment, see what's going on there. But first, you'll probably remember this pistol being from the Ludus review, and the few other bits and pieces about the trigger. And obviously, looking at this closely, you can see this is looking very different compared to what it did do. So we've got Sabre 2011 there, got the nice Jaeger Precision logo deep etched. Sabre 2011, the Jaeger logo, and a very subtle Sabre logo just here as well. So this has been completely taken apart. It's been, had all my fancy doodah etchings put on there, and it's been cerakoted. This is Sniper Grey and Sig Dark Grey. I do run an RMR sight on the top of here, but it's not on there at the moment because I ran it on a different pistol over the weekend event that we did a couple of weeks ago. So you can see it's a very nice pistol indeed. It's so snappy, this thing on CO2, and just like the Gladius. This seems to be a little bit more punchy on CO2. I don't know why that is. Perhaps it's to do with the slide weight and the type of spring they got on the recoil spring guide there, turn spring. So you can see when I release that, it's quite a nice snappy move forward. And that's probably the only bugbear that I've got with this pistol straight out of the box. It doesn't do anything it doesn't harm its performance, its accuracy, anything like that. It is just one of those things where it is quite a hard push down. I mean, if you pull the slide back, absolutely fine. You can see here, it looks very, very cool indeed. What we're going to do, I'm going to get the chrono results up now so you can see what this thing chronos at. It did come up a little bit higher than what I initially recorded, but it does start to settle. This is indoors in a warm environment where the warehouse was quite cold, so that might have a bit of a difference. When I was shooting it through the chrono, it was about sort of 16 to 18 degrees indoors, so it's a little bit warmer than outside at the moment. So we'll get to the chrono, we'll shoot this thing with some 0.3s at 15 meters, which you'll be quite surprised how it did and with how fast I shot it. And then we'll get a little bit more into fitting the RMR and my final thoughts. Let's test the first shot, see where it's landing. Put the irons right on the dead, on the centre. That's pretty damn good. So you've seen there, it actually came out a little bit higher. This could be chrono difference, it could be a whole manner of things, it could be the gun's brand new out of the box, but when we fired it on the scan chrono that we have in the warehouse, it was pretty much 275 to 280 every shot until it literally ran out of CO2. And we did manage, in a sort of more mild to cold environment, about 3 3/4 magazines. Now in a hot environment, would you get 4 mags out of this? 100%. It all depends on how fast you're pulling the trigger though. That was literally just firing it through the chrono like 1, 2, giving it a bit of space to recuperate. We didn't want to just mag dump it in there, especially with it being brand new out of the box. So it came about 318, then it did settle down to 280 and it did fluctuate a little bit up here and there. Different temperatures and different CO2 capsules may give you different results. I think the surprise really here was with the target at 15 meters. You know, some shots did go outside this little black zone here, but you're talking like 2 inches, 1.5 2 inches. And that's firing it from a fixed position, me just standing up, trying to line the iron sights up. Again, I'm not the most competent shooter out there. I'm sure some people out there will do a better job than I do. But just trying to keep the iron sights nice and straight. No hop mess with whatsoever, just firing 0.3 BBs at the target, and I think that did pretty damn well. What I would say is when you go see these reviews out there and they've took a brand new pistol out the box and they've fired a 0.3 and they've got like a grouping, you know, a centimetre apart every shot, it's never the way with airsoft. It doesn't quite work like that. Yes, this gun is going to get better as you set the hop and you put more rounds through it, perhaps a barrel swab, because it is straight from the factory. I haven't cleaned it or anything like that. Again, in the hands of a more competent shooter, you probably get better performance too. But no trickery here, as you guys know always. Just put the BBs in and see how it does, and we can let you decide. So we've still got plenty of CO2 in there. I'm going to need to pick up some more because I'm completely out of CO2 now. So I did try this with a gas mag. The first gas mag I did try was with an Action Army Glock style mag from the AAPO1s, because I've got a few of those hanging around there. It didn't particularly like that magazine. It worked, but it was very slow and sluggish. The second magazine that I tried was a little bit better, which was a VFC G17 magazine out of the 19X. So the 19X magazine that came with it, and I tried some 17 Gen 5 mags that VFC do. Seemed a little bit better on those, but still it was very sluggish. Nothing compared to when you're using this with its tried and tested CO2 magazine that comes in the box. If you want to have fun, if you want the gun to perform the way it's supposed to out the box, use the magazine it came with. We do have spares on the website. We have these on the website in black and tan at the moment. At the current moment of me recording this, they are in stock. I know sometimes I'll put these videos out, like I put the Chapter Rhino video out the other day, and by the time I put it out and got it uploaded and got it all set up on YouTube and done, we actually sold out. So I'm really sorry about that, guys. I didn't put a link on that video just because I didn't really see the point sending you to a link where things aren't in stock. So, you know, it's just one of them things. Guns do go out of stock from time to time. Same thing with the AAPO ones. We have those in. They do go out very fast. So, but at the time of recording this, we do have plenty in stock. We have spare magazines. We have gas CO2 magazines in both colours. We have the pistols in tan and in black. I got Secutor to send me the tan one just because I thought it would be easier for you to see on camera. Let me know what you think of this new perspective and me being much closer up with the camera so you can see rather than me having to cut to this, that and the other. It just seems a little bit more fluent with the way that I normally do it in the showroom. So I do like this pistol. I am a Glock fan. I do run a 19X as my primary sidearm at the moment. It's a primary sidearm, that makes no sense. But my sidearm that I normally use is a 19X from VFC just because it's one of those pistols that I picked up since I reviewed it. Because I bought one because, you know, VFC and Numerics aren't going to send me one of those. Reviewed it and I fell in love with it and I've been using it ever since. I do run the Ludus from time to time. It's one of those pistols I don't have a holster for though. I've got a couple of AAPO ones that I've been playing with and the VFC FNX 45. If you know me for a long time, you know that pistol's been with me for a very long time. So this could very much find its place. I am a Glock fan. I do like the way they feel. I seem to shoot better with Glocks than any other platform out there. So we'll see how that gets on. Before you scream at me about the RMR plate, I did try. This isn't actually a plate, so this is actually moulded to the slide. This section here doesn't come off. So it's very misleading the way they've done it. They've made it look like an RMR plate on a conventional style G series. But all this is moulded, so this doesn't come off. These are literally screws that are just plugs for the empty holes. So taking this off, trying to fit the RMR that I have on there, like this, which is going to look really cool. It's a different thread again. If you watched the Ludus review, you'll know that I had a massive ball ache trying to find out what screws were for their RMR plate, because they don't provide the screws for the RMR plate that they sell. You've then got to go figure out where to get them from and this, that and the other. After trial and error ordering different screws online, I found out there are a 3.5mm pitch thread. So I managed to pick some up and they fit on there. That's just they sit there now, just waiting for the dot sight to go back on there. So the Gladius is a much finer thread. It uses the same type of screws that I use for my FNX, which I think are M3s. We'll have to check that though. These fit the holes perfectly, but these off the FNX won't fit because they're not long enough. Again, it's not a difficult thing. Screws aren't expensive. You can get them a dime for $1 billion. You know, they're literally pennies. Why not, Secutor? And if you are listening to this review, just pay a chance. It isn't me moaning at you guys. Just pop the screws in the box. You know, it's a massive help because then we don't have to go and find out what the thread pitch is. We've got the screws in the box. We put the arm on. You're good to go. Now I'm stuck in a position where I've got to go online. I've got to find the right screw at the right length. Which is, again, from a consumer's point of view, because again, you know, I'm in the industry, I know these things, it's not a massive hindrance to me, but from a consumer's point of view, you might be a little bit annoyed that that's more of like an afterthought. Now, I'll probably go through the box. I don't think, it's when they send me a message and they're like, oh no, they're in the box. I don't think there was anything else in the box because I did check. So there's nothing else in here whatsoever, just the Allen key. So yeah, it's just a bit of feedback for Secutor themselves if they are watching, guys. We love what you do, but just that little bit of extra thought needs to go in. Just supply the screws and keep everybody happy, and this would have been a perfect thing. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and source the screws because I want to run a red dot sight on there, and then probably what I'm going to do is toy around with recoil guide, rod springs, whatever you call them. I don't know. I'm quite flued up at the moment, so my mind's gone to pot, and just see if we can get that a little bit better. They do, like I said, they do have the maple leaf hot rubber fitted out the box. They do have what they call a silicone buffer here, but this spring, it feels quite tight, but perhaps we can toy around with that and see what else we can shove in there. We've got a bit of CO2 left in here. Let's give this a bit quick test fire because this thing is absolute joy to shoot. Bear in mind, guys, this gun's empty. So and this gun on a CO2 capsule just keeps on going. There's not many guns out there that you can get, you know, 4 magazines worth of BBs out of 1 fill of gas. So I think this is brilliant for the money. Yes, there are a couple of niggly things, but you get that with anything nowadays. Screws, like I say, luckily they're quite cheap. You just have to make sure you've got the right pitch and the right length. But this is the Secutor Arms Gladius Magna. I hope you've enjoyed this review. It's probably been a little bit more of a longer one, depending on the timestamp, I'm not too sure. We've got them on the website now. You can come and see one in store if you want to. You can come into the showroom in Slough. But for this and many other standard and bespoke airsoft items, you can go to our website, bespokeairsoft.co.uk. You can always visit us in store at our showroom in Slough. Just come and say hi, guys, and we'll try and, you know, there's a selection out in the store, but it's a very small percentage of what we actually have. So if there's something you specifically want to come and see, just let us know, and we'll grab one out of the warehouse for you. This is a very cool pistol from Secutor. I hope you like it. Any questions, pop them down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.